everybody. Okay. This is the first time I have ever done a Facebook Live. And on my personal page, my business page, we do it all the time, but I've never done a Facebook Live alone in the office. I'm going crazy. Give me a second. I'm going to try to pull up on the iPad here, see if I can see you guys and any comments that are going on. Let's see here. Oh, look, it's like, oh, hi, Maddie. Maddie, I've got the fan going. Can you see it? Are you still there? Look, Beyonce hair. Ah. Hey, it's perks, you know, perks. All right, let me see. I can see you guys. I only have 5 seconds or 5% left on my iPad. So, yeah, Matt, you like the fan? So, hey, guys, this is the first time that I've ever done a Facebook Live, like, on my personal page. Because I'm more of a behind-the-scenes kind of gal. I don't really enjoy being in front of the camera. I like to be backstage telling everybody what to do. So, I wanted to just let you know that this morning I was at home and I wasn't, way to be prepared, 5%. Yeah, Matt, come on, cut me a break. It's what all I have to work with here. So here's the deal. I had a rough morning and I came to the studio. No one has been in here except me for like 16 days. So studio's clean. I came to the studio and I titled this live video, "Okay, Lord, I'm about to sink." Because this morning I had a conference call with my best friend. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Boo, you owe me a boat date. I had a conference call this morning with my best friend, Michelle, who is not on Facebook. She's too cool for Facebook, so I can say whatever I want to say about her. She won't know. But it was I just felt that I was sinking. And, you know, for me personally, really struggling. And I just had a moment this morning where it's like, okay, this is not me. Like, I'm super positive, outgoing, fun. And it just was awkward for me to have a sinking feeling. And so it reminded me of Terrence is jealous. Terrence, I love you too, baby. Is he on here? Y'all, we need to do a 6 feet apart social distancing picnic in your front yard or your backyard. So listen, let me tell you what I did. I came to the studio and I was just reminded of, you know, I'm a preacher's daughter. So if y'all don't want to hear this, you need to tune off now because I got some words for you. I was just, like I said, had that sinking feeling and it reminded me and it just clicked in my head. I was like, wait a second. Hey, Boo. Hey, Terrence. Hi, Steph. Hey, Skeel. I had this sinking feeling and I was like, why do I feel this way? And it reminded me of the story in Matthew about when Jesus walks on water. And I love that phrase where it says, if you want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat, right? You got to do something. But what happens when you do that? What happens when you actually take action and you do something and then it just doesn't work the way that you think that it's going to work? And so I just want to read this to you really, really quick. It's like, so here's the interesting part. Jesus tells the disciples to go across the lake. It wasn't their idea, it was his idea. So if you keep that in mind, that it was his idea and he told them to go across the lake, then he knew what was going to happen. And so about 4 a.m., which I think is weird, like why does God wait till 4 in the morning after we've been struggling all through the night? The winds and the waves are kicking the disciples around in the boat. And about 4 in the morning, the Lord comes and he, first thing he says is, don't be afraid. And you know, that verse, don't be afraid, or those words, don't be afraid, are the most repeated words in the Bible. Interesting little tidbit for you there. He says, don't be afraid. And then Peter, who is like, Peter's got a heart. Oh, by the way, yeah, I'm representing New York right now. You know, I work in New York City, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm representing New York. I don't know if I got a lot of sun this weekend, but I don't know if you can see if it's reversed. So Jesus goes up to them and he's walking on water. And of course they think it's a ghost, right? I mean, you don't normally see people walking on water, right? And when Peter realizes that it's Jesus, he yells out to him because Peter and Jesus are very, they're close, man. Peter's he reminds me of me. He's fiercely loyal and he always he's a doer. You know, he always wanted to do something. He didn't want to just sit back and that's a sermon for another time. Shut up, Kevin. I'm blonde. I can't focus, but we're like 10 seconds at a time. So you guys are going to have to stay with me here. So, like Kevin said, focus. So Peter sees Jesus. And what I love about it is that Peter asked Jesus, he said, if it's you, you tell me to come out there. You command me to come out there. And so the Bible says that Peter got out of the boat. I mean, those are the words. I mean, the Lord said, yeah, come on. And Peter had to get out of the boat to do it. Now, can you imagine if there's wind and waves on your boat? Kevin and Terrence know this from boating people. There are winds and waves on your boat, and you're about to get out into the water. I was stranded off of Tybee last February 16th, 2019. Didn't tell anybody this, but I was out with a group of friends, and we lost our engine, and or the motor went out. And so we had to throw the anchor. We were in 16 feet of water. We're about 1.5 miles off of shore, 2 miles, and we were stuck. And had the anchor failed, we would have been in the Bahamas. But it was a little scary because as the towboat came to get us, the wind and the waves were picking up. And so I think about Peter having the courage to get out of the boat, but he did. And that's not really the point of why I logged on to talk to you guys today. Hey, Kristen. Hey, Scott, my fellow agent buddy in Indianapolis. The reason that I wanted to come live, and this is my first live video, is to tell you this part of the story. So he gets out of the boat and he starts to walk on water, right? So he did it. He's brave enough. He gets out of the boat like us when we do things with our businesses or we do things with, just stuff that we're working on or dealing with our family and being brave and decisions that you make. And he gets out of the boat and he begins to walk on water. And as he's having success, this is the interesting part. As he's having success, in the middle of the successful moment, he begins to look around and sees the wind and the waves. And we're human. Our minds go in different directions and start freaking out. And that was me this morning. I was like, okay, I'm sinking. What is my business doing? Do I have a business anymore? When is this going to come back? I mean, when are they going to start advertising again? And I began to sink this morning. And that's what made me come live. And I hate this. I don't like being on camera. But I think it's time for me now to maybe start speaking out a little bit more. And I want to tell you, I was sinking this morning. And so when I picked up the Bible and began reading the verse and the story about Peter walking on water, what I was amazed by is that it was Jesus' idea for them to get in the boat. He knew the storm was coming, and he told them to do it anyway. Thanks, God. So they get in the boat, and then the wind and the waves come, and then Jesus appears, and he's walking on water. And then, as the story goes, Peter had the brave courage to get out and do it. While he's in the middle of the success, he begins to sink. He looks around and he sees the circumstances around him, and he takes his focus off of the one that commands the wind and the waves. And I think what happened to me this morning is that I took my focus off the one who commands the wind and the waves. Because there's a storm around us right now. I don't want to be negative because it goes against everything that I am to be negative, but there is a bit of a little storm around us right now. We got some wind and waves kicking around us, and it's an awkward time in our lives, and it's difficult. Hey, Beth. But this morning, I began to sink. And I started looking at the wind and the waves, and I took my focus off of the creator of the wind and the waves. And what's so funny is the Bible says that when Peter begins to sink, he reaches his hand out and says, Jesus, save me, I'm sinking. And I got the wind in my hair. I got the wind before me, the wind behind me. He says, Jesus, save me. And immediately, the Bible says, Jesus reaches his hand out and he helps them up, and they climb back in the boat. And when they climbed back in the boat, the wind and the waves stopped. And that's what it says in Matthew 14. It's 14:28 through 33 if you want to go read it. But it's the story. I see so many times people say, if you want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat, right? It takes courage to do that. And I think a lot of us have gotten out of the boat and been courageous and done some things in our lives. But suddenly, when you begin to sink, what do you do now? And so that was me this morning. And I just wanted to share this with you. I'm not big on telling my faith like this online, but I think right now is the time for it. And I just wanted to encourage you. Don't look at the wind and the waves. Keep your eyes focused on the one who created the wind and the waves, who controls the wind and the waves. And the last thing I want to tell you is, when they climbed back in the boat, the waves stopped, and all of the other disciples that were there and saw it were amazed. And Jesus says to Peter, "Why did you have such little faith? Oh, you of little faith." And I think to myself, Jesus is probably like, dude, I'm the one that created all this. Why are you worried about it? I mean, I can tell it to stop. I can tell it to go. And I think what's happening now, like if we were in a class or we were in church, it's like, raise your hand if you're worn out. Raise your hand if you're scared. Raise your hand if you're over your family. Sometimes when I forget what to say, I take a sip of water. So, anyway, hey Dee, how are you, sweetheart? So that's the encouraging word for today. I'm here in the studio alone. I feel like a total goofball. If I get enough likes, maybe I'll do this again. You guys will give me the courage, the action. It'll give me the action to get out of the boat and get on live Facebook. But I really just wanted you guys to know that when you feel yourself sinking, you have taken your focus off of the Creator and put it on the situation and the circumstances around you. And that's perfect recipe for sinking. But what you got to do is extend your hand and ask the Lord for his help and to save you, because he's going to be there and he's going to do it. And then he's going to laugh at you and say, I'm just teasing. I have a funny relationship with God. I hope you guys, God and I talk like I'm his favorite, Michelle. But we have such a great relationship, and I laugh with God a lot. And I think the funniest part of the story to me is that when they got back in the boat, Jesus is like, dude, come on. This is, I created all of this. I created the air you're breathing, the winds you see, the wind in your hair, Matt. And so that's, to me, the funniest part is that when they get back in the boat, Jesus is like, why were you worried? Like, I'm in charge of all of this. And I think that's where we need to be, is just when we get to a point that we're sinking, we look up and we change our focus. And it really helped me today. I hope it helps you. Yeah, Matt, we got to do something with, oh yeah, and you guys, guess what? Now there's no manicures open, no salons open for manicure, pedicures. That really sucks, but I paint my fingernails like I'm a 12-year-old, a kindergartner rather. So we'll see. But I've got to log off now because I need to go live on the business page. Hey, Christian. Hey, Andrea. Christian. Look, hey, Christian. I'm representing, wearing my New York t-shirt for you guys up there, thinking about you, praying for you guys. And I just want you to be encouraged today when you feel yourself sinking. Remember, put your eyes back on the Creator of the wind and the waves. Okay, that's all I got for now. I hope that helps you guys. See you. Hey, Randy. All right, gotta go. I'm going live on the other page now, so on my business page. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.